Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I am TJ Randolph, and tonight I have decided to bring you another impromptu live. Shout out to the moderator extraordinaire, RM. Shout out to Big Bad Bull in the house. Hello, hello, hello. Um, you saw the thumbnail, Johnny Depp. You know, I was very reluctant to make any commentary. Can you all hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Oh, wait a moment. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Can you hear me okay? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was reluctant to comment on the trial for several reasons. The first being Johnny Depp is in my age group. And I remember him back when he was on 21 Jump Street, which aired in 1987. I graduated from high school in 1985. So I remember him and that group of actors who were part of that show. Again, thus part of the soundtrack and the movie of my life as a young person. And I've always thought him an extraordinary, funny actor. That's young Johnny Depp there. Holly Robinson Pete. I forget this guy's name in these two actors, but I remember that time. And I remember him in subsequent roles, and I've always admired him. I've always admired his talent. I've always admired how he was able to take the role from 21 Jump Street. And for those of you who don't know about 21 Jump Street, it was a police type show that documented, or basically, you have a youthful cast of youthful police officers from the cat undercover police officers that would go into high schools, colleges, and teen activities to uncover criminal activity that was going on in those environments. So that was part of my growing up. So that was one part that, and then I may have already said that I'm kind of confused, but I admired the fact that the way that he was able to take his career from 21 Jump Street and just skyrocketed. It just skyrocketed. And I think of all the cast members, he's had the most success. And of course, the Jack Sparrows, Pirates of the Caribbean. So there's an actor that I kind of grew up with, and then taking my daughter to see his movies, and wanting to go see the Pirates of the Caribbean, Alice in Wonderland, and all the different ones. So it's hard. But another part that was really hard for me to consider doing any type of reaction on this is because of the domestic abuse allegations and what he has had to defend his reputation. And as I heard some of the testimony as well as some of the recordings, it had a visceral response in me. And it had a response in me because no matter how long it's been, if you've either been a victim of that type of conduct, or you've seen a loved one experience it, it still affects you. It still triggers you, and it still triggers me. So that was one of the reasons that I was reluctant to comment on it. But as I was looking through various clips, I said that I was going to do just that. So, for whoever joins me tonight, thank you for joining me. But maybe, whoever sees it. But I'm really kind of doing it because I'm coming from a different perspective, I think. But I'm coming from the perspective of identifying with Johnny Depp, how he's even speaking when he's on the stand. And of course, no one knows everything that went on between the two of them. But based on what has been shared thus far, we can come to a reasonable idea of what may have been happening. So, what I want to do is I want to look at a couple of clips and I want to talk about them from my perspective of my experience. They're not very long clips, but I think I'm going to end with the one of his sister because that's the one that messed me up the most. And I don't have any tissue here, but I might have to go ahead and get some. Okay. So we'll start with Johnny Depp's family. We'll start with that. We'll start with that. We'll start with this clip here. Johnny Depp's family uh, hates her. As a matter of fact, let me just play the audio to make it better because I don't want to get in trouble with fair use. So we'll just start with this clip, and I'm going to put all the links to these clips in the description. But this clip is taken from New You Media, and it's Johnny Depp's family hated Amber Heard as he rejects spousal support in divorce. Can y'all hear that? Johnny Depp and Amber Heard always appeared to be lovey-dovey in public. It's reported that a tumultuous home life is what led to Amber filing for divorce. Can y'all hear that? Asking for spousal support. TMZ reports that Johnny's family, including his recently deceased, let me know if you can hear that. Hated Amber, and this was no secret. Even Johnny's children, Lily Rose and Jack, reportedly thought that Amber treated their father poorly. And it's rumored that Depp's family just believed she was using him for money, fame, and to further her own career. Since the couple apparently has no prenup, Amber is asking for spousal support. But Johnny's legal team has already responded by asking a judge to reject this claim. Wow. Just when their awkward apology in Australia was their worst moment, it seems like a lot of other things are about to go down under, as a battle for Johnny's $400 million fortune is likely to make things uglier. Okay, so a couple of things there. You heard the report that even Johnny's mother didn't like her. Okay, well, some people say, well, that may not be a big deal. But his children. There's another clip I saw that his children, particularly his older daughter, talked about how she felt that Amber Heard was isolating him from his family. That is a classic sign of control and abuse. It was a clip that talked about how, he was so, jovial. He always seemed very jovial. Even on the stand, he seems, kind of funny, a weird sense of humor, but, very jovial. But how he started to change over time. He started to be sadder, unlike himself. I identify with that. because I have always been a people person. I've been a social butterfly pretty much all my life, never met a stranger. But during that particular time in my life when I was with that person, I was not myself. I was not myself. I was not myself. Let me look at another one here. Let's talk about another one. So, this is one where his friend gets emotional talking about Amber Heard. I see where she's trying to go with that. Okay, so we're talking about a friend that he's known since he was 16 years old, 42 years, 16 years old. So, again, no one knows what goes on completely in somebody's house. But suffice it to say, if someone has known you that long, they pretty much know something about the kind of person you are, generally speaking. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 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 Yeah. Mm. Yes. Mm. Yeah. Go ahead now. Okay. So that's his friend of 42 years breaking down. And the reason why I chose this clip is because, again, I liken it to what I went through. I liken it to what my mom went through because it just doesn't affect the person or the two people that's in it. It affects so many people. What's worse if it's a lie. That's what's worse. So as he's crying, I feel his pain because, again, when you love someone and you see them destroying their own self by staying with someone that has no good intention for them, it's like it's taking a part of you too. It's taking a part of you too. Okay, I got another one because it's when he talks about he's lost everything, and that is very telling to me. And again, I had a neighbor. She's about 4'11". She's pretty tiny, but don't let that fool you. Her and her boyfriend would go at it non-stop. I can't tell you how many times I called the police because they were right next door to my house. But because there were several times she called the police and tried to have him arrested when it came to find out she was the aggressor. There are a couple of times that like Johnny Depp, recorded her saying that she was going to injure herself and tell the police that he did it. So domestic abuse is bad in and of itself. But when you lie about it, that's just evil. That is evil. That is evil. Uh let's play let's play Amber Heard's assistant. I'm sorry. To me, there's nothing likable about her. To me. To me. Man, almost make me want to curse. Um, so again, Iana Van Zant used to say, if you'll do it here, anywhere, you'll do it everywhere. So that kind of conduct or behavior, I'm not surprised that she did it with her assistant because obviously she thinks that she's entitled. She can do that. Okay, so let me find something else here. This is what I'm talking about as it relates to what you can't hear? You can't hear that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Hmm. You can't hear? Oh crap. Cause I have it loud. Hmm. Can you have you adjusted your volume any higher? I'm sorry. I thought I knew what I was doing. Thought I knew what I was doing. Ah, you couldn't hear her. Okay. Okay. Did you hear the previous recording that I played? Did you hear that? L- Did you hear the previous recording that I played? Okay. Yeah, I have mine as high as it'll go because I again I'm hearing it good in my earphones, but I don't know. I guess you all are not hearing it that great. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll recap because what I really want to do here is talk about let's talk about the sister for a minute. Did there come a time when your brother and his third can y'all lived together? And when did that occur approximately, if you recall? I don't recall the timing. I don't recall the timing. Do y'all can y'all hear that? The sister is on the stand now. Do you? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's the sister on the stand now, and this is what really broke my heart. This part right here really broke my heart. Um, it did. So let's dig into this. What type of structure was the Eastern Columbia building? Was that a freestanding house or was it apartments? It's apartments. How many penthouses did your brother own on the top floor of the Eastern Columbia building? I think it was 5 apartments. Do you know who lived in those 5 apartments when your brother and Miss Heard went to live there? I know who lived down there. I know Isaac, a friend of Johnny's named Isaac, lived down there. I know Amber's friend Rocky and her boyfriend lived in one of the penthouses. Amber's sister Whitney lived in one of the penthouses. When you say Rocky, are you referring to Rocky Pennington? Yes. And was her boyfriend Josh Drew? Josh Drew. Did Rocky Pennington and Josh Drew pay any rent to your brother? No. What about Miss Heard's sister Whitney? Did she pay any rent to your brother? No. Do you know why your brother allowed them to live rent-free at the ECB? Because do you see how sad Johnny looks to see his sister up there? Do you see it? I'm sorry, foundation. We asked, do you know why? So she knows. She was his personal manager. Did you arrange for handling a lot of your brother's bills? I would give them to a business manager. But I believe they were Amber's family and friends. That's why he let them live there. How often did you see your brother when he was living with Miss Heard? We did see him he pretty much stayed down there. He didn't come back, towards where we were in West Hollywood very often unless he had a reason to. And on those occasions when you did see your brother, what observations did you make? He was always in a hurry when he was able to come back. He could never sit and spend the time, it felt like he was always trying to, get back downtown. He, he just seemed so much sadder. His person was much just sadder. And that Okay, let me tell you why this really gets to me. It gets to me because I shared with you all before that I was in a relationship before I met my husband that ended violently. Before it got to the actual violence, he would say things to talk about me and really degrade me, and just different things he would say in front of my friends or my family, have little digs at me. But this one time, again, I was working again. I've worked for the federal government. I was at a higher grade, and I remember my boss, who was also a mentor of mine. He said to me, "TJ, you're shrinking." Now, because I was trying to lose weight at the time, I thought he meant that he could see that I was losing weight. And I said, "Well, thank you, sir. I've been trying to lose weight." He said, "No, that's not what I'm talking about." He says, "You are shrinking. The vibrant, confident, outgoing woman that I have known, she's shrinking." And he said, "I'm praying for you." He said, "I don't know what is going on." He said, "But you deserve better. You're worth more than what this is." So when I saw the sister give this, it just, again, that's the reason why I was kind of reluctant, because before it gets physical, it usually starts verbally. And after a while, you become so tired. You become a shell of who you are and who people have known you to be. You start to withdraw. And if you're an outgoing person, you start to withdraw, because if you're out too much, or if you just gone too long, when you do go out, it's a problem. Yeah, let's continue.
Time period when your brother and Miss Bird were living at the ECB, did you have occasion to observe them together? Would you please describe for the jury what you observed on those occasions when you saw your brother and Miss Bird together?
Different occasions. I've seen them together when they come into the office. I mean,
in your capacity as Johnny's personal manager, do you know whether your brother and Amber ever traveled together?
yes, we did travel together. There were times when Johnny had to go do press or film. They traveled together.
What type of travel arrangements did you make, two of them, when they traveled together?
We would get a private plane, took them to whatever the destination was, and make sure that we had the hotel accommodations taken care of. Part of what we did was to always make sure that we anticipated, everything. So we would do the travel, the hotels, cars, drivers. I would make sure that there was an extra hotel room, you know.
Why did you make sure there was an extra hotel room when Johnny and Miss Heard went on trips together?
Because they're
I don't believe it does.
Okay, that's fine. You can answer me.
I put the extra hotel rooms because if Johnny was at home or anywhere like that, he was able to, if they argued, he was able to leave the room and leave the argument and go like he's always done and hide. traveling for, the different reasons for press or whatever, and we booked the hotel rooms, I wanted to make sure that there was an extra room, because it wasn't unusual, for them to have arguments, so I wanted to make sure that there was an extra room.
Did your brother ever have occasion to use that extra room that you booked for him?
Yes.
Let's stay with foundation if you want to lay a foundation.
I think the foundation was she made all of the travel. I can actually lay it to some other questions as well. She was personal manager. Whose idea was it to book an extra room for your brother when he traveled?
It was my idea because, I saw a repeat happening in life when we were kids and arguments and fighting would start to happen. Our first thing was to go and hide and, get away from it. And since I recognized what felt to be a pattern, that was a repeat pattern from his childhood, I wanted to make sure that there was a place that he could do just that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta stop it for a minute. So I guess they broke up or whatever in 2016, so 6 years ago, so he's still in his 50s. So from his late 40s to 50s, when he's getting in an argument, he reverts back to what he did as a kid to go somewhere else and hide. That is huge to me. That is huge to me. And that his sister could tell that was happening. So she took the initiative to get her brother an extra room in the event because she said they argued often. Do you know how hard it is for family to see you do this to yourself? Do you know? And to feel completely helpless? Maybe that was her way of helping the best she could.
Did you book your brother's hotel accommodations in the 14 years when he was with Vanessa Perry?
Yes.
Did you ever book an extra room when he was with her?
No.
If you could repeat it, I don't think the jury would know.
Sorry. No.
Did you ever hear?
Okay, stop. You heard him say 14 years. He was with the other woman, whoever that was. I don't know if it was first wife, girlfriend, whatever. But 14 years. Didn't do that.
Your brother and Miss Heard argued.
No.
Did you ever see or hear any physical altercation between your brother and Miss Heard?
Okay. Is it me? Or does he look like a little boy who can't even look up at his sister that's testifying? Is it me?
What can you tell us about what you did observe of your brother and Miss Heard together?
When I saw him, to me, he was always trying to make sure, he was always trying to make her happy. He always made efforts to sort of make her happy. He has a very strong personality, and my brother's personality came off much more soft to me.
Did you observe any occasions in which Miss Heard was nice to them?
I've seen her be nice and even offering to, bring the drink or, get him whatever. I mean, just a typical nice. I've seen that.
Have you witnessed any occasions in which Miss Heard wasn't nice to you?
I
Would you please describe those situations?
Yeah. Miss England stayed with me. On one occasion, I was at the office and I had a meeting with Dior, who had wanted to sit with Johnny and talk about working together. And Amber had come in and asked if she was going to represent us, and we said no. We weren't supposed to really talk about the meeting with anyone, but Johnny told Amber that I had just had a meeting with Dior, and that they were interested in him. Um, her reaction to that was she was in disbelief and sort of disgust, because she said, Dior, why would Dior want to do business with you? They're about class and they're about style, and you don't have style. So it was the insulting kind of taking away that one moment. That insult is there. I've seen the insults multiple times actually.
What, if anything, did you hear Ms. Heard say about Mr. Depp's physical appearance?
She called him an old fat man.
How did he respond?
I believe he's heard her call him himself.
Okay, like I said, long before physical stuff happens, the emotional abuse happens. The whittling down of your person, the nagging, the poking at your person. Again, going back to that same person, Mom, I had a gathering at my house. Um, my mom was there, friend's mom was there, and my mother, she didn't tell me right away, but she did let me know that while they were in the kitchen, her, my friend, and this person, and he made a snide remark. Well, Terry thinks, or TJ thinks she's all this, but she's really not, or something to that effect. But basically, it was just really just demeaning me. Not only demeaning me, but demeaning me to my mother and my friend in a house that was mine. He stayed with me. So just like this Amber is in his place, wife or whatever, but demeaning him in front of his family. The isolation. Let me see if I can find something about his kids here. I told y'all about my neighbor who would talk about how she would call. I mean, that she had called the police a couple of times because see, I had called the police so many times on them. They knew me by name. They knew me by name. It was bananas. The yelling, the slamming of the doors, the throwing shit. I mean, it was bananas. And that's the one reason that I'm glad Mr. Randolph got me out of there, because I said, honey, you have to deal with only a couple of days a week. I deal with it every day. If you don't get me out of here, something's gonna happen. Okay. Let me look at.
Amber walked confidently into court this morning as news broke she has hired an elite security detail to protect her after she's received disturbing online threats. The New York Post says she's spending at least $120 an hour per guard from the company that employs former military, though it's not clear how many she's reportedly hired. Back in the little room again. Supporters cheered Johnny as he arrived today. The Post says his ex hired the security to monitor, quote, lone wolf supporters trying to gain access to the courthouse ground, vehicles, or entrance to the facility. The latest testimony in the case came from LAPD officers who were called to Johnny and Amber's LA penthouses in 2016.
We need to make sure everybody in here is okay.
Video from one officer's body camera was played in court from the night Johnny allegedly threw his phone. Those other officers are Melissa Sines and Tyler Haddon.
Did you see any time that night any indication of any bruising on her face?
No. Amber's attorney questioned Officer Haddon on cross-examination.
Did you take any photographs to show a lack of injury?
No. It was nearly a week later that she appeared in court. Photographers showing her this question.
Amber, did Johnny give you that bruise on your face?
Amber filed for a temporary restraining order against Johnny after the alleged incident. Johnny has denied hitting Amber at any time in their relationship. And Court TV's Chanley Painter with us again.
Okay, look. Is it funky to anybody other than me? No signs of injury on the day of. Now, but signs of injury a week later. Now, the reason why I'm curious about that is because, again, the situation in my case that turned violent, the day of, there were some bruising and scars. But the very next day, not a week later, but the very next day, it was bruising all up in here and on my knee. I mean, dark. So for it to show a week later, that's surprising. That is surprising to me. It's surprising to me. So going back to what I said about my neighbor, who admitted, because oh boy, because she had been doing crazy stuff, because he knew he couldn't do anything to her, because for one, he's a man, but two, he had a record. So he started recording her, and the recording said, I'm going to trying to cut myself, and I'm gonna tell the police you did it. See, this is the kind of shit that pisses me off, because it's stuff like this with this Amber Heard female and my neighbor that makes, when women really have issues, really have situations, not be believed. And then with her saying that they're not going to believe you. And like I said, it's hard for me to talk about it, and I grappled with even if I want to comment on it, because it brings up my own experience but it also brings up experiences from my childhood where I was cut by a broken bottle from a man who was hurting my mother. And I was 16 years old, and I still have a scar on my arm. When you are a victim of it, or you witness a family member, it's something that it stays with you. Kind of like what his sister was saying, with the arguing or whatever, you just run and hide. One moment. I'm sorry. There was something else I was looking for. It was something that he basically said that he lost everything. I don't know if I can find it. I might not be able to find it. But Johnny Depp talks about, how he's lost everything. He said nothing short of everything. His career, his reputation. And again, the drug usage, the alcoholism. I don't drink like that. But when I was in the midst of that, I was having a cocktail every night. I saw when he was on the stand, with him, you know, recounting those experiences. And although he's, joking a little bit, but you can hear how difficult it was to say that, to share that. And you ask yourself, how did I get here? How did I allow this to happen? One minute, please. Sorry. Okay.
Secret audio clip after secret audio clip exposed in court. Using Johnny's own words, Amber's defense attorney painted a disturbing picture of a dysfunctional relationship. This apparently recorded by Amber herself and played for the world to witness. Amber's lawyer also read to the jury a 2016 text from Johnny that told me this tense exchange.
She will hit the wall hard for us Asians. And then later down we say, I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath. Did I read that right?
Hitting the wall hard based on the accusations that she put up.
You didn't answer my question. We'll take a look at the next element. Thank you.
Johnny is suing Amber for $50 million, claiming his career took a nosedive after she wrote in his 2018 op-ed, quote, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse. She did not mention him by name, though she did get a restraining order against him in 2016. And Depp became testy with Heard's lawyer. He gave Johnny a slew of negative articles written before Amber's op-ed was published.
The first one is where did it all go wrong for Johnny Depp? After a string of flops and a ton of bad press, Johnny Depp's star power looks as wobbly as Jack Sparrow on a plane. Did I read that right?
That's very good.
A marriage gone very wrong and a lifestyle he can't afford inside the trials of Johnny Depp. Did I read that right?
You did. You should read the article.
And the last one.
Court Chief Champion Bankers with us once again.
Okay, so this look at this one.
Due to Amber's allegations, the entire sense. Correct?
I'm saying after everything basically hit its immediate target and the hit pieces kept coming. It would be, and I would be a little sick of something. It was the effect on my career based on those words. Weather dimension.
You became aware prior to the publication of this op-ed that you were likely out for violent sins. Disney was considered dropping or dramatically shrinking the role, correct? Can you pull up Defense Exhibit 150, please? Mr. Depp, you see the date of this article beneath those bullet points is October 25th, 2018. You see that? Yes. And were you aware that as of October 25th, 2018, about 2 months before this op-ed was published, that it was being reported, as it is in this article, that Johnny Depp is out as Jack Sparrow with Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise as actor battles for nomination? Were you aware of that?
I wasn't aware of that, but it doesn't surprise me given that 2 years have gone by. Just constant
Slander.
talk about making this October is 2 months before December. That's correct. It's odd that they were going to release me from my role as Captain Jack Sparrow, but kept me on my ride across the world, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and Los Angeles, Hollywood, maybe 4 times. Shanghai, we were so they can remove my character from Rise. They didn't stop selling Ocean Life for Captain Jack Sparrow. They didn't stop selling Doll for Captain Jack Sparrow. They didn't stop selling it. They just didn't want there to be something trailing behind me that they find.
And you aren't aware, you said Pirate 6 in your view is dang. You're not aware if or when Pirate 6 would be made, correct?
That knows what I know.
And the fact is, Mr. Depp, when Disney came to you with $300 million in million-dollar pockets, nothing on this earth would get you to go back and work with Disney on a Pirates of the Caribbean.
That is true, Mr. Butler.
And you couldn't identify a single movie that you did between the divorce and the outback. In response to Ms. Meyer's question, you said there was a small tour of your band, but you couldn't identify a single movie that you did
Hmm.
in the year or two prior to the outback, correct?
I don't really have to tell you that when I worked up there, I do my work, and then I'm around. I'm not sure. I've got my work. So I haven't seen the majority of my films. I've seen a few of them. So it doesn't right away from my moments. Films are not the first thing I think about.
Okay, is it me or maybe he just talks that way? Maybe he just talks that way, but I will tell you, when I was dealing with that situation, I felt so nervous all the time. And I'm going to be honest with you. That there's certain things that can happen in a person's life. You may have, like in my case, I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder, and in 2007, and I've always been able to manage it, with medication, therapy, and stuff as needed. And if there were times through the course of whatever's going on, if I needed to increase the dosage or decrease, I would work with my doctor. But I was able to, thrive in spite of this disability. However, but when that situation happened, July 16th, 2017, it's as if something broke. It was so traumatic that as hard as I tried, I was never the same. I couldn't work like his friend talked about that he couldn't paint. I couldn't work. I had changed jobs. Still with the federal government, but I had changed jobs 8 times in a 4-year period. Whereas prior to that, I had been with the same agency for like 6 years, getting promoted. But after that, I couldn't keep it together. I was easily overwhelmed. I was easily flustered. I was nervous. So these things, the effects of being abused, physically, mentally, takes on so many different, it shows itself in so many different ways. Even when you think that you're over it. And here's the thing, my husband is wonderful. I'm so grateful for him. And he sees me sometimes if we're watching a movie and or anything and it talks about domestic abuse, he sees that it has an effect on me. He can see it happening. He can see me changing just by watching it. So, in as much as Mr. Depp is, hopefully is getting the help and support he needs, it's going to continue. It's going to have a lasting effect on him. And again, you ask yourself, this man, we all have challenges in our relationships, but it is apparent that no other relationship he had ended up like this. Ended up like this. To where his daughter was, putting stuff, I think, on Twitter or Instagram, talking about what kind of loving man her father was and all these kinds of things. And there was a clip when he was talking about how he was talking, saying that Amber Heard was saying that he's a bad parent and X, Y, and Z. I'm like, you don't even have kids, do you? Okay, help me out. Okay, he's talked this way since 21 Jump Street. Okay, help me out now. Okay, okay, help me out. Thank you. Because I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, help me out. See if I have anything else. Um, hmm. Just one moment. I think that might be all that I have. So, I haven't been able to really watch it. I haven't. For reasons I shared with you, basically growing up with him. 21 Jump Street, 1987. Seeing him on the various movies and so forth, and my daughter, him becoming a part of my daughter's, um, movie collection in the sense of the things that he was in, and she wanted me to take her to. And this is hard to watch, not only because of the publicity, but to see anybody to have to endure this. And this man didn't deserve that. That's evil. It's freaking evil. Is it just me? But she don't seem very likable to me. On the strength, she don't seem very likable at all. Okay, well, I'm going to drop the link for just a second to see if anybody wants to come in and share some commentary on what they've observed thus far with the trial. Because again, I have not really watched it because it's hard for me to watch. Even in the clips, it's hard for me to watch. Okay. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, niece Pooh. Okay. Johnny grew up. Yes. I remember even when 21 Jump Street was out, I remember then how they talked about how he was kind of eccentric. I remember that. And I think that added to his allure. Because that little thin mustache, that got me every time. So I think that added to his allure. I just think it's really, I hope the truth comes out. And it is apparent that they were toxic together. It is very apparent. And it's almost like I share with you with my neighbor, they would break up for a while and I would always know, because it would be quiet over there. They break up, that blowout, he end up going to jail or she going to jail or whatever, but it'd be quiet. But I could always tell when he came back, when they were back together. Because it'd be cool for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden, the throwing of stuff, glass breaking, doors slamming, yelling, all this kind of stuff. I always knew. And this and the same kind of stuff. I lived in that house for 4 years, and for 3 of the 4 years, that is what I dealt with. And again, she was the primary aggressor. So, and she was far smaller than him. But she would lose her shit throwing things. Just like this female. And then say, I didn't punch you, I hit you. Are you for real? It's still violence. You're being such a baby. Are you serious? I don't know if she's been diagnosed with anything, but something's going on here. Something is going on here. And here's the thing. I hope, just like he has lost business opportunities, I didn't know that she was in the Aquaman movie. I guess I didn't recognize who she was. But she should lose something too. For real. And there's another thing that was revealed, that she took a picture of him while he was, I guess, passed out with, ice cream in his lap. And so here's the thing. If you love somebody, why would you take some pictures like that? What's the purpose of that? In my mind, she was plotting then or before. Because if you love somebody, why are you taking pictures like that? What's the point? What's the point? Unless you're trying to gather stuff to use against the other person. And I could be wrong, but it seemed like he started recording to protect himself, like my neighbor's boyfriend did, because of all the stuff that had been leading up to it. And it really pisses me off, like I said, because when you have situations like this, and then my neighbor, it takes away, it lessens the credibility of women who really, or really not just women, but I'm talking about women because since I'm a woman, who really are in those situations. When you lying. Okay. Well, I don't want to be before you long. It just really bothered me. And again, and here's the thing, I think I saw something, a clip that said his father may have been abused by his mother. Anybody see that? Am I making that up? I thought I heard something to that effect. And again, men go through this. They just don't report it. And this her basically, no one's going to believe you. And that is true most times. So that is why I believe he started recording stuff to protect himself. All right. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I just need to get that get that out. Get that out. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate the interaction in the chat. Forgive my tears, but again, it did bring about some emotion because it's hard. Okay, yep. Okay. Yep, his dad, family. Okay, his dad. Is that ghosted? Yep, okay, his dad ghosted the family because he got tired of being. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Mm. Whoa. So again, goes back to what the sister said. With the arguing and everything, he would go run and hide. And all these years later, as a grown man, feeling the need to do it again just to get away. And this female is going to follow him. Don't stop it. Don't do that. She going to follow him, going to make him talk to her. Don't do that, ladies. Don't. Don't. Do not. Everybody has a breaking point. I'm glad that he didn't appear to break and do something serious to her. I'm glad he didn't do that. But he's not to be a punching bag either, or a victim of her manipulation and emotional and psychological abuse and physical abuse. Got me messed up. I'm sorry. Whew. Okay. Thank y'all for stopping by. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. I probably shouldn't have went to bed instead of doing this, but I needed to get this off of me. And now that it's done, I can go ahead and go to sleep. Maybe watch a movie to calm my nerves. Something funny to calm my nerves. So again, thank you to all you who did stop by and comment and participate. I greatly appreciate it. So until next time, y'all have a good one.